Hello, everybody. Hello, fine babes. Hello, gentlemen. Wow. The last time that I filmed was in March, the week of March 21st. Well, it was actually March 21st, the last time that I filmed before I became so sick. And I was setting up everything. And I was just thinking, Lord, you have really given me the strength to set up everything with half of my hands. Like, it's really a grace to be able to come back here and to pour to you, my ladies. I know there are some gents, but to you, my fine babes, first, what God has placed in me. Yo, it is a grace. And if you have something that you know the Lord has placed inside of you for the world, which I know you do have, because each and every one of us have the gift of God inside of us. So if you know the gift of God that you have and that you are not sharing it yet, baby, don't take it for granted, okay? Because one day you don't know what can happen to you, and you will not have the ability to fully access it or utilize it the way you know you can do it. Anyways, we are back at it. We are back by the grace of God. We're not stopping. So today, baby, the subject that I have for you today, it's been pondering. Because there are too many ladies, too many fine babes, especially in the church. Let's start with that. This video is for my fine babes in the church. Girl, this year we are already mid 2025. So you have 6 other months to make it right, okay? So we're going to debunk everything right now, and it's not gonna be the same anymore. You cannot end this year. I think I said it in one video that I've made already. You cannot end this year and say, I did not receive everything I wanted. I did not see the hand of God. I did not experience what I... No, it's impossible. So today we're talking about your heart's desires, and I'm talking about marriage specifically, because there are too many women, especially in the church, they want marriage, but they don't have it as a desire in their hearts. And because of that, there's no one to read their hearts. And when I'm saying there's no one to read their hearts, actually there's someone who comes every now and then and is trying to read their hearts, but because there's no desires, or the desires have not been properly written in their hearts, the person is reading nothing, or is just reading lies, and that person is God. Every time that God wants to do something with you, every time he wants to give you something, he goes in your heart. What does the Bible say? Write the vision, make it plain, baby. Make it plain. And that table is your heart. God needs to read the desires of your heart in your heart. But now, what happens is that a lot of the ladies in the church, they have been lied to and they have been deceived, because a lot of times they want marriage. Everybody wants marriage, but they don't know how to get there. They want to get married, but it's not yet a desire. So every time it's like they see other people get married, they will think about it maybe, but it's not a desire. And why I'm saying it's not a desire is because they do not prepare themselves. All they do is going to church, going back home, no social media, no doing anything. Everything is evil. It's like, I don't want to mix myself, because if I mix myself, then I'm sinning. It doesn't work like that. When you want something, you have to prepare for it. And the reality is that a lot of the ladies in the church, they think that they are getting prepared, that they are preparing themselves, but they are not. I'm gonna be honest with you. The realest things about dating, especially dating Christian men, you're not gonna find it in church. And I said what I said. Unless the people in your church are real and they do not portray to be something at church and something else, you're not gonna find it at church. And many ladies in the church are too closed minded and they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. They want marriage and they don't make it a desire because they don't want to sin. And others, they don't want to make it a desire because then they will start longing for it and become desperate about it and become bitter about it. But the truth is that God wants you to have this desire, this longing. God wants you to be real with Him. He wants you to have this in your heart. And He wants you to be broken. A broken spirit God will not despise. You have to be broken before God. You need to be able to pour yourself to your God and to show Him that, listen, God, I know that right now I'm serving you. Right now I'm doing my best to just receive the grace that you have given me, the mercy that you have given me. But my heart's desire is marriage, and I am preparing for it because one day I know by your grace you will give it to me. If you are God, if you are real, if you're truly the God that you said that you are, you're gonna give it to me because this is one of my heart's desire. And preparing for marriage is not just the cooking and cleaning and the waking up early and the Proverbs 31. It's not just that. God is a God of strategy. And if you are the daughter of God, you gotta be smart. You gotta be intelligent. You gotta ask your God for wisdom, understanding, knowledge. You need to ask God truth about being in a relationship, about man. You cannot just cook and clean and looking good. You can't. This is not gonna go so far, okay? It might get you to maybe meet a man, but now you meet a man, you gotta keep that man. And if it goes to engagement, then you gotta go to marriage. And then marriage, you gotta keep this man in marriage. You gotta stay married. For the ladies, you have this desire, you have this want, you have to make it a desire. You have to be intentional. You cannot just say, God, I want to get married and that's it. You have to be intentional about that dating scene. You have to get out. You have to meet people. Listen, you know why there are many divorces and many relationships that don't end up in marriage? It's because the girls are not girling. The girls are not girling, baby. Why are you chasing that guy? Why are you too available for this man? Because he's a man of God. Because he's Christian. Because I'm not gonna say this one. Why are you not choosing your man? You have to choose your man. No man should be choosing you. You should be doing the choosing. You should have so many options. And when we say you have to have many options, I'm not saying you go do the dirty with them. You're not supposed to do that. Now, if you want to do the dirty with them, that's on you. That's not on me. But what I'm telling you is that you should not be doing the dirty with none of them. So you gotta choose. You gotta have options. That may the best win. Why are you not understanding that you're single until you are married? I don't care if that man said that he will marry you. I don't care if you are in an exclusive relationship. I don't care about none of that. I don't even care if you have the ring on it. Have you ever seen all the marriages that at the altar the man is not showing up? I'm gonna let you sit on that one. Because All of that has to stop. You need to be intentional, and being intentional is understanding who you are, is understanding what you carry, is understanding what you bring to any relationships. And when you know that, you understand that the desires of your heart can come to you because you are ready to receive them. And you also understand that not everybody are worthy to be in your presence. They're not already. Whether it's a man, whether it's for even for friendships, I don't care. You have to be you have to understand who you are. You have to understand who you are before God and before man. You know, one thing that I've had a hard time accepting, and I literally just accepted it in April. In April, because I was recovering from my hospitalization, and then during my hospitalization, the way God showed up for me and the way He was showing me things, it made me have a different perspective of a lot of things. And in April, my mom told me something. And that was the first time in my life that I heard that. And I was like, I know, I accept it. Baby, I'm a fine babe, so I look good. I looked real good. And I was, bébé. Vrai bébé. Donc, so I was fine, okay? And the way I dressed, I was fine. I was lit. So my mom looks at me and she's like, my daughter, you will make the men flee. You will intimidate this man. You will threaten them. I said, Mama, huh? What do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? But then a few moments later, I was like, yeah, I know. And I'm okay with that. Because after Jesus, it's me. Okay? And you must have this attitude. After Jesus, it is you. In anybody's life. In anybody's life. You gotta have this attitude. You gotta have this confidence that, baby, after Jesus, it is me. After Jesus, I can bring you what you need. I can get you to the place that you want to be. This is the power of a woman. A woman, when a man is with a woman, especially a fine babe like you, he just increased in value. So yes, you should be intimidating. Yes, nobody should be coming to you. And the ones that are coming to you, you should be vetting them. You should be weeding them. It's not because someone is coming to you that you have to accept it. And this is where you have to change your mindset. There's no such things as scarcity. It doesn't exist. If you don't like something, you dump it. You put it aside. You don't pay it attention. You just don't. You don't have to entertain everybody because you think that if I'm not entertaining this person, then I might lose on something good or whatever. There's plenty, and for the daughters of God, there's plenty. The thing is that you're not opening your eyes. You are close-minded, and you think that everything is a sin. A good man coming to you, just because it's not the preacher, just because it's not in the intercession team, you want to dump it. You don't even want to know who he is. Or it doesn't work like that. You got too many women in the church are ignorant of the realities of dating, and then years go by and they remain single and they are wondering why. Lord, I'm anointed, I'm wise, I have been good all my life. Baby, if you want Boaz, you have to be like Ruth. You cannot take advice from anybody, because I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of them, they don't want you to get married. A lot of them, they want their reputation to stay clean more than they want your heart's desires to be fulfilled, to be given to you. So you gotta go where the real people are, and there are not many in the church. Why do you think that many men of God or many people that are going outside of the church? It's easy for a woman. I mean, not every woman can change. Matter of fact, you cannot change someone, only God can do it. But it is easier for a man to marry outside than for a woman, because the man is the head. And if the man is to be the head, the woman can follow. But that's touchy, that's risky, and I'm not really trying to get into that subject, but the woman needs to change their mindset, their environment. You need to get knowledge about the true dating. You need to accept that you have this desire. I remember when I was serving in a ministry, I was 24/7 in that ministry, and I would brush off my desire for marriage. Well, first of all, I was the youngest, and because I was the youngest, I was dwindling my heart's desires because I didn't want to be too loud about what I wanted, because the other women in that ministry that were my big sisters, they also wanted marriage and they were talking about it, but they were not getting it. So I was like, if my big sisters are not getting married, who am I to want and desire and to voice that desire? So every time I would brush it off, and every time men would come to me, I was like, bro, you're bro zones. You're bro zone. And until one day I did not bro zone that guy. And that's when I actually started to talk about it. And that was just like 4 years. Yeah, 4 years ago. That was only 4 years ago that I started to voice my take on wanting to be married. And I'm not regretting it, but I know that a lot of women, they are in that space where they are so into God that they forget that there is a preparation. And I'm telling you, my preparation for marriage only started 4 years ago. Before that 4 years ago, before 2021, I knew how to cook. I knew how to clean. I looked good, but baby, I didn't know anything about a man. Even though when I was in the world, like I was surrounded by them and all, but I took on my true identity, which is a daughter of God. So I'm not working, I'm not walking as in I'm in the world. So my perspective had to switch, and I thought I knew men, but I didn't. And that's where many of you are erring. You are erring because you think that you're ready, but you're not. And you think you're doing the right thing, maybe for ministry, not to keep a man. You gotta be real with yourself. You gotta be real with God. First of all, this want that you have must become a desire. You need to want it for real. Second of all, you need to be surrounded. You need to get the knowledge of dating, the real life, not what you hear in preaching, not what you hear in social media. What you need, the real one. And when I'm saying the one you hear in preaching and in social media, whatever, like there are a lot of people that are pick-me-shas, that are pick-me's. Like, I don't know if you have noticed, but the best couples, when you ask them, there are always similarities. And the couples that do not stand, there are similarities. And unfortunately, the church is giving us a blueprint for couples that cannot stand. Being Christ-centered is not enough. Why do you think all these David and Gideon and Solomon, all of them had many wives? Why do you think Rahab is the mother of Jesus? Why is Jesus coming from Judah? Have you ever thought about it? Why is it that God took the worst tribe, a tribe of, I want to say a word, but I'm not gonna say it. A tribe, lawlessness, a tribe of lawlessness. Let's put it this way. So why do you think God took this and they still use them. Because in marriage and in spirituality, you don't apply the same rules. Yes, you have to be Christ-centered, but in your marriage, that's not enough. That is the truth. You have to be Christ-centered in your own life and get the wisdom and understanding so that in your marriage, you can take on that role of a wife. So you gotta be surrounded by real people, people who are not gonna tell you just the regular Christian and conventional things. You have to be open-minded. You have to be enlightened. You cannot be naive. So that's the second point. The third point, you need to prepare, baby, prepare. You can only prepare by experience. And when I'm saying experience, you know what I'm talking about, because I told you, you are not supposed to open your legs, even to touch me. If a man wants to touch me, I'm hard. I'm hard. If I let you touch me, it's because I wanted it. No man can say they touch me. I wanted. Impossible. If you touched me, it's because I wanted it. These men, they cannot touch me. You're not supposed to let these men touch you, do anything to you, because you are supposed to choose. How can you choose if you are giving yourself to everybody? No, you vet them. You let them come in if you want them. If you want to see if they can be a good candidate, you let them come in and you vet them. It doesn't mean you have to touch them. If you are intentional about what you're doing, you're not gonna let them come anyhow. You understand? You cannot stay the same. You cannot continue to be that woman. Stop it. Stop being that girl that everybody can get, or stop being that girl that nobody wants because you're too focused on ministry. What is that? Do you want marriage or not? There's so many women in ministry, they don't have the character. How is your character like? Are you meek and quiet? Because the thing is, people think being meek and quiet means that you have to be weak. It's meek, not weak. Being meek and quiet, it means unbothered. The only thing that can bother you is the things of the kingdom. Whenever things are coming to you, are you ready to fight? Are you quick to react? How is your character? Because on the pulpit, yes, maybe you sing well. Maybe you preach well. Maybe you teach well. But when you get off the stage, that's what you need to understand. You are not the same person outside of the stage, outside of the pulpit. You are not the same. So you have to prepare the right way. You need to be real with yourself and lay your life before you and see what are the good things, what are the bad things, and what are the things that you don't know. But honestly, there are things that you don't know and that you don't know that you don't know them, and there are things that you don't know and that you know that you don't know them. So for the things that you don't know that you don't know them, I mean, you cannot do anything until you get faced with these things. So that's another thing. But for the things that you know, I'm not good with that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. When you say your results, you're saying that something is definitely missing because the results are never the ones that you thought you would receive. Then you have to be real. You have to be honest. Lay it all before you and ask God to guide you to the people, guide you to the experiences, guide you anywhere that you need to be guided for you to receive that knowledge, understanding, wisdom, for you to receive your heart's desire. It's so simple. And I am giving you steps, but at the end of the day, it's the grace of God. The grace of God goes to whoever he wants. But what did God ask Moses? What do you have in your hand? God uses what you have. God uses your heart, your mind, your intelligence, your knowledge. Apostle Paul was able to get his way out of situations because he had the knowledge. He had it all in his head. He was learned. So God was able to move through him. So what do you have? Honestly, God cannot give you what you don't want. Why would he do that? Because there's somebody else who wants something. He's ready and he's just waiting for the right time. A according to God. You have to be real with yourself. You have to be real with your reality, and you need to work for it. The rest, grace will do it. Grace will do the rest. But baby, you are too fine to just go through this life year after year just not to receive what you want. Don't get it wrong. A lot of women are single because they have not done the choosing yet, and you have to become that woman. You have to ask God, what is my strategy? You are the God of strategies. What is mine, so that I can receive a fulfilling, loving, standing marriage, a marriage of my dream? Not because it's always lovey-dovey, but because it is all I wanted, needed, and it is fulfilling. It is adding into my life. Being married is not enough. You want to marry well. So you need the strategy to marry well. You need to have the knowledge, the understanding, the wisdom to be able to receive that good thing. So that was it for today. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel. If you like the video, thumbs up. You already know. Comment something. Just comment something. And I will see you on the next video.